You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Leck.
And together we are
Rope Break.
Family. It's time for NXT, the show that, like most of the time, delivers, and this time wasn't an exception. It was the fallout of NXT, the Great American Bash, and we had like a lot of good things, new storylines developing. So thank you so very much for watching every single one of our videos. We're going to be talking about all this great show. We had Keith Lee with an open microphone, because why? Because they gave Lechampion an open mic. So of course that's why they have to counter. So thank you, Triple H, for like being a good counterist. You know, you counter every single thing that they do. So Jean Paul, how do you feel about this show? Did it meet your expectations or not?
Yeah, I mean, for a Fallout show, it did enough. We got, of course, Keith Lee, like you said, opened the show. So, we knew that was going to happen. We're going to hear from him, the new double champ, carrying Kross. They showed that at the end, so you knew he was going to get involved. Io Shirai in the main event. And, there was another, a bunch of other stuff in between that, like, made the show solid, I felt.
Yeah, it was, and that's the word. It wasn't absolutely mind-blowing, but it was solid. That's the key word. I really like that word, and that's what it was. So, let's start, like, dissecting. Let's start, like, taking it from the beginning, Jean Paul. Like I said, don't forget to watch also, like, AEW Fight for the Fallen review. Not really great. Pretty disappointing. We're all pissed off about that. We had the high expectations of Dynamite or AEW.
Just throw in the towel.
But unfortunately, yeah, we're about to throw the towel at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's getting really bad, and like they're wasting a lot of great talent, and that is something that they need to fix ASAP. If they don't, NXT is gonna just keep going and going, and then we don't want Lechampion to come out and be like, oh yeah, I keep winning in that demo. What you're gonna be doing is like giving demos to people so you can actually get a record label, because Fozzie's contract is going to about to expire. So we don't want that to happen, but let's start basking in our glory. Keith Lee comes out. Everybody's really happy. They had, like, in the beginning, I really like how everybody kind of like, Keith Lee. They had, like, all the wrestlers kind of like congratulating him or like saying, hey, good luck, stuff like that. So he came out, and then he asked the announcer, hey, can you just announce me one more time? It felt really good. And they're like, oh, the NXT and North American champion, Keith Lee.
Yeah, I like that when he was like, he held up his North American championship, and then it's like, and new, and then he holds up the NXT championship. I mean, that's cool. I'm not going to be like, oh, like he's being cocky, he's being whatever. Because, hell, if that was me, I'd want to bask in it.
Yeah, no, and it's his first time, so let him celebrate. It wasn't bad at all. And then he was talking a little bit. He said, this times haven't been easy at all. COVID, all the stuff. There's been a lot of suffering, a lot of deaths, a lot of bad moments for everybody. A lot of sorrow, throughout the world. But he's basking in his glory. So legit. So at least Otis and him are having a good year.
He's like I'm double champ and I'm banging Mia Yim. It's legit.
Yeah, Otis and him are having a good year, so good for them. We haven't seen Otis because probably he's going to be, like, really skinny because all this time with Mandy. So, he's been just, basking in his glory. So now, the peach, so, like, he's been drinking a lot of peach juice. So, But let's go, like, now he's talking about, let's address somebody. He goes, hey, let's talk about one friend that I have, or, like, somebody that I really want to talk about when it comes to a title discussion. And that's Dominik Dijakovic. He comes out, he brings him back, and Kane is like, hey, there's a lot of respect between us two, but how about if I give you the first opportunity to you? Dijakovic is like, I don't want to be like, so I'll take it.
Yeah, well, at first he was a little bit like, so, and he was like, oh, he's like, Keith, so, and then he just grabs the mic and he's like, just say yes. And he's like, I'm like, what, are they going out on a date here? But
yeah.
I mean, they wrestled so many times, it might as well be at this point.
Maybe that's why he was like, it's like, we've done this, and you're going to win anyway, so why do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And he's like, say yes. All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, in the end, they set up the match. They confirmed by Mr. Regal, so they're going to do that. So, that's going to be later on in the show. I think it was a decent start of the show.
Oh, yeah.
This rivalry, Keith Lee said, like, you were the one that held me out to reach that level of main event status. Because of the matches that we had. So it's like, of course I'm gonna do this for you because you're part of this.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna give you a title opportunity. So tell me,
yeah.
Jumbo.
And that's, to me, that's a shoot, because when he got hired, it was like, oh, you hear Keith Lee's legit. And he was kind of losing when he first got signed to NXT. And then I was like, oh, okay, people said this guy was legit on the indies, but you know how that goes. Indies and NXT is completely different. And then he was having matches with Dijakovic, and then it was like, he was all over, like, oh my God, you got to see this guy. And then it was like, oh, like, damn, then everybody had eyes on Keith Lee. So, I mean, he's not wrong when he says that.
Oh, yeah, it's true. So, Jean-Paul, let's go to the first match of the show. Cameron Grimes against Damian Priest. Finally, they had the last chance of settle this rivalry. Pretty decent match. And in this case, finally, Cameron Grimes wasn't acting like a bitch. So, they finally blow out, and it was a good match. And like I said, and Damian Priest ends up getting the win. I really enjoyed, like, a lot of the interactions, a lot of the moves. I like the move that, like, Cameron Grimes kind of, like, flips you on, like, 360, and then, like, he lands you, like, that big slam. I like that.
Oh, yeah, it's like an inverted power slam here or something like that. He, like, spins you from, like, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's really good.
There was when he first did it, I watched it like 5 times in a row. I kept rewinding it because I'm like, how do you even do that?
It's a really good move. I really like the spinning heel kick that like Damian Priest does also. Like that. That's really cool. In the end, though, like Cameron Grimes gets stuck in the ropes, in the second rope, and that's when like Priest is able to do the awakening and done. But what do you think? Like the match was good for you? Like,
I mean, I didn't have any complaints with it. Cameron Grimes, I was putting him over there, or not. Yeah, Cameron Grimes with that legit move. But I mean, he's kind of like boring, not boring, but like when I watched the match, I'm like, I guess it was predictable. And that,
you had to give it to Priest because Priest is your main guy.
And the one thing with Priest, I almost wish he was still a heel. Because I liked him better as a heel, like he comes out with the chicks and he's like, I just bang these chicks and I take what I want. Now he's like a baby face, and I'm like, man, like he's still kind of the same character, but like, I don't know, still send him out there
without the heelish tone, but like even like the entrance is pretty good though. I really love like how like the lining, and then like he's like a super like rock star.
Yeah, and speaking of him, and then talking about something that they did a little earlier, I like after the match when he was like, "Hey, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, whichever one of you guys wins," he's like, "I'm got my eye on you." And I like at the beginning of the show, they showed everybody, like Gargano, pretty much every
what
single.
I said, like everybody kind of like saying Keith Lee.
Oh yeah, all the wrestlers,
everybody like recognizing or at least saying some kind of stuff.
Yeah, like they were coming for him. Oh, okay. See, I thought you were talking about all the jabronis in the crowd that were like,
no.
Oh, okay,
you're right. And see, Priest he joins kind of like the line. He says, "Hey, at some point I'm going to be challenging." So, that's really cool. And that ends this feud for him and Cameron Grimes. So, hopefully, we'll see. Maybe he will be in the middle, before like we get a pay-per-view. Maybe he will be that contender in the middle to kind of challenge for the championship. Or maybe, we'll see Finn Balor. We haven't seen him. Gargano. So, he's in that mix of guys that like they can choose. Because we know the main feud is going to be Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. But in the middle, before they get to that, maybe
I think William Regal, I think he, like at this point there should be some sort of tournament, either like Keith Lee loses one of the belts or something happens and then it's just like relinquished, and then the guys have a tournament for that, or a tournament for the number one contender or something, because there's a lot of guys and it's hard to decide who's first.
Yes, no, you're right. I agree with you. I think that like that's what they should do, because you don't want to over like expose Keith Lee either. So that's the stuff that you don't want to do. But let's go to Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, like we had a promo again by him. He's like taking everybody to school, and he's teaching how to do the armbar.
That's how. I mean, I'm with
and
these.
Jean Paul is like, oh, I've seen this way more than what I actually wanted to see this. And he's like, why do I have to keep seeing these vignettes? And then he had a match. He beat DeJournette. He's one of the enhancement talents. So, of course, 4 minutes? And then armbar, and then done.
Oh, yeah. And if I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I saw him, like, oh, who's he going against? Okay, it's a jobber. I skipped ahead, and I saw maybe the last 25 seconds of this match.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, what is there to see? We see the vignettes. He's, I'm going to stretch you. The Fujiwara armbar. Like, it's like, okay, can you show us a different one? Can you, whatever? And like he had a match. Like he's been having matches, so we don't really need these vignettes. We know what you do. We've seen 3 or 4 of them now, so that's why I was like, really, like, You know,
Yeah,
organizing
and
this, and then
in the end of that match, only Lorcan came out. So like
yeah,
only had
that to
still
me
like the
was
kinesio tape. So like
yeah.
that means kind of like they're selling the injury a little bit. So that's really cool. So maybe the feud's gonna prolong itself.
Yeah,
But
and
like
that
you
to
said,
me was legit. That to me was the only legit part because I feel like if you're gonna keep the feud going, it means Oni Lorcan is gonna get a win over him, and to see
yes.
Oni Lorcan win would actually be legit.
Exactly. So like I think that these guys could be the potential like middle ground for the North American Championship. These could be the guys that like could be like kind of lobbying for an NXT North American Championship match right there. That's like
Oh yeah,
your mid piece guys. So I will say that. But now Jean Paul, we had images of Io Shirai getting in the building, and then Tegan Knox. He has interviews. She's like, "Well, how do you feel?" It's like I never been in this kind of shape, shinier than ever. So this is my night. So I'm going to become the new NXT Women's Champion. Everybody knows my journey. So the end is today. So cool stuff, like they get us hyped up. Excellent promo. And now Legado del Fantasma, Jean Paul. We get to see an episode of Narcos on Netflix. We got to see the Legado del Fantasma. They're rolling like a ranch. They're like kind of sitting there. They're like talking, and they're like doing some toasts. Like
yeah. It looked like kayfabe champagne. It looked like just water, but I'm like, oh okay, I guess it's champagne.
Yeah, sure,
or something.
whatever. But in the end, he was like, oh, we beat Dre Maverick, and actually we gave the legitimacy to Lucha Libre one more time because Breezango, like they were wearing the masks, like make them seem funny. They make him seem like a joke, but it's not a joke.
Oh yeah, and I like how he was putting them over. Escobar, he was like, oh, okay, Raul Mendoza. He's like, you're, a technical master. And then he's like, Joaquin Wilde. I forget what he said, something about being high flying or something like that. He put him over for.
Yeah.
And then it was like, he said Breezango, they're making fun of Lucha Libre. And I think he also kind of took a shot at the main roster. He's like, we're not just here for a fiesta. Like a Lucha house party.
Yes.
Like, we're not here to just be bullshit and like pinatas like Ariba. No. We are 100% legit.
Oh, yeah. No, I really like that. I really enjoyed the promo.
Yeah, so I liked it too.
Selling his guys. And, said, Raul, you're legit. You work out here. Kind of like selling like the stuff with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you sell drugs to this kind of countries.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's legit.
You sell, to like this side of South America. So legit. And I'm the big dog, so I make sure that the operation is running smoothly. So Santos Escobar, I wasn't sure at the beginning, but now I'm enjoying it more. And I see legit thing. I will always say that he's able to combine both languages.
Yeah, I love when he
subtitles. Like you always said, subtitles legit. Everybody knows what he's saying, and they're gonna return the art of professional wrestling or lucha libre. So really good stuff, I really like that. Like Legado del Fantasma, like you said, it can be really legit, but the one thing that we're waiting on is, really believable contenders. And like you said, I don't know where Kushida is. I don't know, like you said, maybe Tony Nese. I don't know who could possibly be the third member. Because Maverick to me is like you said, it's not believable to be the one that takes on Legado del Fantasma.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're really dragging out this feud and then that's what it's going to be. But to me, Kushida deserves it. And then because all he said, and I agree with it, Maverick, I have nothing against the guy. It's a legit story. But he said the only reason he has his job is because he was crying on the internet.
Exactly.
And that's 100% true.
It is. It is so true. It is so true.
If he never made that video and he got released and was like, okay, thank you for all the opportunities and didn't say anything, he probably would be on Impact.
Yeah.
Again.
He will be returning on Slammiversary, and Robert will be covering that.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So you're absolutely right on that, Jean Paul. So right that you're gonna see Indy Hartwell going against Shotzi. Blackheart, we get to see Indy we haven't seen him often. So it's kind of okay, well, we don't really know who she is and stuff. And actually, she beats Shotzi. She beat him with the help of Aaliyah and Robert Stone. For the ones that don't know, there's a lot of rumors, Jean Paul, that the character Robert Stone is a copy, is an imitation, or is a parody of Mr. Tony Khan. So that's why, they're trying to, that's why they make him look bullshit. That's why they make him look stupid. And that's why, see, I said it live because, see, Jean Paul was...
Oh, my God. I see it. I could see it.
That's why, they make him, do all this stupid shit because, they feel that, that's kind of Tony Khan could be even when it comes to signing new wrestlers. So that's the parody or the comparison.
That's so legit.
Yep, there you go.
If whoever came up with that, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, whoever it is, you know, that is so legit.
No, it was Joaquin while while he was like, you know, delivering some drugs in like Salvador and stuff, you know.
He was in Brazil and he's like, oh, I got an idea.
I got an idea. Like let me hey Hunter, you know, because everybody now nobody knows Paul Levesque. He's like, Hunter, how you doing? So that's the stop, Jump Paul.
But I mean, the match itself between the two of them. I mean, like you said, Indy Hartwell. I almost feel like this is a debut for her because it's like she's off TV for how long, and it's like, you know. But it was good here. Shotzi obviously was going to be the favorite, the one to win. The interference, I think, is good because, you know, they want to get the Robert Stone brand over, and it was over because Chelsea was over. You know, to a certain extent, they call up Chelsea, and then so she's done. We haven't seen her in how long. So then the Robert Stone brand, it was built up, and then it went back to zero.
And then done.
Now it's finally getting up somewhere. They have Aaliyah, and Aaliyah's really into it. And then it's like, you know, they're recruiting other people. Hopefully they get Indy Hartwell. Because then that would be a good faction for the women who aren't challenging for the title. Can, you know, the faces can challenge, you know, the Robert Stone brand that will be made up of heels.
Exactly. So like that's it's a good idea. The match was pretty decent in the end, like you said, with the help and interference from Aaliyah. Like she kind of like took Shotzi from like the third rope, like she was about to like dive, and like she took her, and then Indy hit like a big boot and 1, 2, 3, and Indy Hartwell ones. Like you said, they need another member, and now it seems also that they might have a male member. You know, somebody that hasn't been featured on TV a lot, and that could be Killian Dane. We're gonna be
and if they do something like that, that will be legit to do like intergender matches, because if NXT does that, that will be a thing where, and not like, oh, the woman tagged in, so now the other woman has to tag in.
Yeah.
Like
no, and also, for example, see Jean Paul, like for example, like they can like the women can interfere in matches to help Killian Dane. And that's what, like, they had a little bit of a promo right there, and Killian Dane, like, he's talking to Robert Stone. He's like, hey, I really would like to join. Like, Tony Khan is, like, probably saying to Brian Cage, he's like, you're huge, you know, you're a big superstar. So, yeah, I
you're huge and you're huge
like,
and you're used to losing all the time. So, come on.
You want to job to John Moxley? Yeah, sure, okay, yeah. So, like, the same thing that they kind of did with Killian Dane, and Killian Dane's like, I'll join you if you get me a match. And he did, because he's going to have a match against Dexter Lumis next week. So that's like, we'll see how like the Robert Stone brand keep getting members.
Yeah, because Ali, I think, came out with the picture that he drew, and it was Robert Stone getting drove over by a tank. I guess there was a picture of Killian Dane on there that he got pissed about, because I didn't see it, but I didn't rewind it and look either. And maybe he wrote what you just said, like, oh, he's losing to John Moxley.
It's the like, picture of John Moxley, like beating Brian Cage, yes, yeah, and that's what it was.
That's so bullshit.
So that's, you know, that's what it is. And like Jean Paul, we put a smile on Jean Paul, so that's really cool, because that's the rumor out there that like Tony Khan is just like Robert Stone is a parody of him. So Jean Paul, what is not a parody, it was like, feast your eyes against Baz in his glory. So they finally have another match, probably the fourth one that we've seen with these guys. And from all the four, this is probably like the weakest one, is the lowest one that you could put in the top. But I think it did a job. You know, they had a few good moves. It was quick. What, like 8 minutes or so? You know.
Yeah, I mean, it went a little longer. The beginning of it was kind of slow. It was all like the test of strength, and then it was like, oh, let me shake your hand, and then I pull you in a headlock. It was almost like, you know, like Rocky when it's like, oh, you want to ring the bell, ding ding, like two friends going at it. It wasn't like a legit fight at first, but then it got going, and like I was saying to you, he still hasn't been able to hit the feast your eyes. I feel like that's a story they're trying to tell. I think he is eventually going to hit it. He's going to pin Keith Lee, whether it's for a belt, not for a belt, whatever. But I do think it'll happen, you know, and that'll be a big moment for him. You know, no pun intended on Keith Lee, the moment maker. But I agree. This match wasn't, you know, their best, but that's like saying, you know, like, you know, oh, I went to a free beer party and it wasn't my favorite, kind of beer, but hey, it was still free beer.
No,
like it was still good, but it wasn't as, you know, it wasn't their best work.
Yes, exactly. So in the end, the match kind of really doesn't really matter much, because we knew he was going to retain. Keith Lee, you're not going to like do all these things, just for him to like. You only do that to Christian.
We were waiting for the aftermath.
Yes, you don't only do that for Christian. So anyway, so he retains like the Big Bang Catastrophe 1, 2, 3, and then Scarlett comes out. You know, everything gets really dark. We can even see her. We can even see the body. We can even see anything. Because of course, like Kevin Dunn is just like making sure that like we don't see anything but her face, the shot right there, and like
And
she
his
comes
teeth.
out. Yep, and then she brings like the broken hourglass, and she just puts it there in like kind of like a TikTokish way. So like you can see the feud is right there. They're hinting at it. That's really cool. And like she was just like staring at Keith Lee, and then she laughs about it. It's like, oh, you poor son of a bitch. Like look at
like,
my
yo,
honey.
you're done.
It's like, oh, and Mia, like it's like, okay, yeah. It's like, oh, you have bigger boobs than mine. Oh, that's legit. Yeah, So stuff like that. So that's what Scarlett was thinking. And in the end, like I said, Keith Lee just like keeps staring at her like no fear. So that was really cool. And then Dijakovic is shown backstage. And he's like, they're interviewing him. Hey, how do you feel? It's like, oh, like 4 times. Of course I would have to lose. It's like they told me to just like, don't get out to like the Big Bang Catastrophe. But then Karrion Kross shows up. And like, oh, you want some? And actually, Dijakovic is taller than Karrion Kross.
Yeah, Dijakovic is tall. He's like legit 6'6" or 6'7". He's tall.
So he makes
Keith Lee look short. Keith Lee's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, so like they, and they went at it like Dijakovic and see, but like Karrion kind of put him over a little bit. He took the advantage.
Yeah, I think Karrion is legit. I'm sure like Karrion is a hell of a guy. He'll work. He's not like Ultimate Warrior who's not going to sell for anybody. But he also had a suit on.
Yeah,
he had, like the suit, and Dijakovic was just in like trunks or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're beating him up, but then in the end, the suit jacket comes off and whatever. He gets the upper hand, leaves Dijakovic laying there. But they announced the thing that I popped for the most was obviously them fighting. You knew there was going to be a match. They announced a match for next week, so I'm like, this is legit. This is going to be, because I think this will be better than Ciampa. I think he'll hopefully put up more of a fight. I don't think they're going to bury Dijakovic.
Well, and also like you said, like weight-wise, height-wise, they're a little like more the same.
Yeah, so, it's believable. It's believable.
He's going to put like more. I think that Dijakovic is going to have a lot more.
And maybe Creative actually has something for Dijakovic, unlike Tommaso.
Unlike Ciampa, like old. So, I used to be legit 2 years ago. Everybody popped when I came out, and nobody has any. And like, come on, dude. You know that like you have to come out.
I don't want to shoot on Tommaso Ciampa, but maybe it's because he looks like an angry grandpa on steroids.
No, well,
maybe change the look.
That, like, hey, he's done a lot for NXT, and you said it. If he doesn't want to go back to the main roster, there's reasons for that. It's justifiable. We're not saying, hey, don't go.
Yeah, but look how Johnny changed his character and made everything relevant.
But yeah, and yet has Johnny been in a championship match? No. What I mean? He hasn't been main event. He has to wait. He's tried to be in the main event, but he's failed every single time. So that's what I mean. And don't be like, so.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, you're not Hulk Hogan. You can't be, main eventing every show for 10 years.
And a guy with that experience and a guy that has been exposed to absolutely everything should not be. I mean, if it is for character purposes, whatever. If it is for that, I don't mind. But like you said, if he's really complaining, I'm like,
yeah, like, come on. Like really?
Come on, dude. Yeah, I'm like, Impact is right there. Maybe former world champion. Show up Slammiversary. It's fine. That's the stuff. But like you said, we're looking forward to Karrion Kross and Dominic Dijakovic. I think this could be the best match that like Kross has had so far.
Oh, this Dijakovic
is a good wrestler. He's able to do moves out from the top. He's more athletic than the others, even than Ciampa, because Ciampa like he's not like a guy that goes in the top rope and then dives or does any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, so, and also maybe you could do a heel turn. I don't know if there's going to be if Karrion is just him and Scarlett and that's it. But I'm thinking maybe he turns, Dijakovic heel, or Dijakovic just turns heel and doesn't join him. But there's a lot you can do with Dijakovic coming out of this, though, as well.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. So now let's go to the main event, Jean Paul. Tegan Knox against Io Shirai. I think it was a pretty decent match.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it was like, woo, like 5 stars.
What was
3 is all right.
Yeah, was Sasha and Io better? I would say, yeah, it was a better match.
Yeah.
Was this still legit? To me, it was still legit. Especially when I looked at the clock and I saw how much time. Okay, it's not going to be an 8 5-minute match. They're actually going to give these women some time to wrestle.
Yeah,
and it was good. There was a couple spots. I don't know if they're just selling injuries kind of towards the end of this thing, but like Io was in the corner and Tegan was like running, and I don't know if she hit like a forearm or like
she did a European uppercut.
Yeah, the European uppercut,
because
and
she was going to do the cannonball, but I guess I don't think Io like understood.
Yeah, but
like
she was literally like walking, like you know, like you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I gotta go take a piss, and you slowly walk to the bathroom. That's how she was like walking over to hit this uppercut, and I'm like, is she selling the knees, or are they legit that like blown out? Like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I don't know, like what, but I mean, it was legit, you know, match and stuff. You could see it on her face, like her expression. She really wanted to win. It was like, you know, the emotions and the stories were there. But it's the same thing with Keith Lee. You know, this was Io's legit first title defense. You know,
so like you're not gonna like
she's not gonna lose, and it's like, sorry Tegan, but now's not the time. Like,
no, exactly, and she didn't even hit the Chinese Wizard, so that's
she countered that. Yeah,
she was able to hit, you know, the choke slam. She did a cannonball. She did a lot of like her moveset, her repertoire, but not the Shining Wizard. And in the end, Io did like a really sloppy moonsault because she actually hit more of the mat than Tegan, but Tegan kind of like rolls over to the side so like she can actually cover her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe they were that legit, like blown up. Maybe they were tired. Or, you know, I don't know if they filmed 2 shows in one day and they're like, oh, like we're so done.
You're right, because even like Tegan's like hair was all over the place. You know, it's like I'm like, are you guys wrestling or are you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's going on here? But yeah, no, I mean, it you know, it was good. It was good enough. The right woman won, and the story was again what happened after the match.
Let's say, to make it a comparison, Jean Paul, it was still better than John Moxley and Brian Cage.
Oh, well,
you know
I mean...
You guys want to, like, go comparison, analogies? You want to go analogy line? Well, it was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, I'd rather see that 1,000 times than just the freaking armbar and then Taz throws the top. You know, I was going to throw the towel at some point at Tegan.
I'd rather watch Marco Stunt do that little bullshit dance and watch Taz throw in the towel.
Yes, yeah. So like, you know, like in the end, it was a pretty decent match. But like you said, we mentioned this, you know, weeks back. We said that like the feud that is going to be the pay-per-view feud is going to be Dakota Kai, and she showed up at the end. He was celebrating, you know, woody, you know, like oh, evil baby, I got it, you know. You got look at us, like, still have mine, you know.
3 belts, we're legit, yeah.
Yeah, we're legit, you know. Hey, baby, like we, you know, put the 3 titles right there, and then we'll get some fun. But, you know, of course, Dakota Kai shows up. She attacks Io, so that fun is not going to happen. So we see that, like, the main feud, the feud that, like, it should have always been the feud that was going to be her first feud for Io, it should have been Dakota Kai. So, you know, we get to see, like, she attacks.
You know, yeah, but if Raquel does come, you can, you know, if you still want to keep Tegan in this main event and you still want to do whatever, for a couple weeks, you can maybe have Io get beat down by the 2 heels. And then, you know, boom, Tegan can then join because it's like, oh, I have history with them. Let me help you. But Rhea Ripley, they showed a quick little thing. I guess she's like, I'm done screwing around with Robert Stone and kicking his ass. I'm done. Like,
she has a new look too.
Yeah, yeah, blonde, blonde hair and stuff. She's like, I'm done beating up Tony Khan. Like, you know, that's so bullshit. And now she's like, I'm going.
He loves it. He's loving it. Loving it.
Now she's going full Charlotte Flair. She pretty much said, oh, I'm going to the main event. Yes. So maybe she's going to team up with Io. And, you know, maybe she'll feud with Raquel for a little bit. And then after Io beats, you know, Tegan, then it's like, oh, you know,
after Io goes through Dakota and everything, then
Dakota, that's what I mean.
The main match with, like, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. So maybe that's what will happen. But this is how NXT closed, family. So, you know, I think it was a pretty decent show. Like, for a Fallout, it was decent. You know, nothing extraordinary. But at least, you know, you get to see a little bit of, like, the new beginning for new stories and what's to come for NXT. So, you know, family, Jean-Paul, remind everybody, please, where they can find these 2 guys on the social media world.
Well, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, Twitter, The OG Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best reviews that you can ever find in the YouTube wrestling community, right here, The Original Rope Break.
Yeah, you know, family, don't forget to check us out. Like I said, we have AEW Dynamite, like Fight for the Fallen for what it is. And, like, you know, we're really pissed off in that video, so, you know, check it out. Jean-Paul, not as pissed off. Actually, not disappointed. Monday Night Raw, the horror show, the go-home show for Extreme Rules. A lot of grudge matches, you know, so it was a pretty grudgy show. So, you know, you both check that out. And shout out to Glenn Davidson from, like, wrestling day in, all day, all night. You know, like, he was shouting us out. He said, like, he enjoys the videos. Thank you so very much for that, and thank you so very much for every single one of you for support this initiative that is Rubric. Jean-Paul and I, we're going to have a busy weekend because we're going to be doing previews and predictions. We have a special guest for that. Also, we're going to have Extreme Rules, all the coverage from, Spanish and English. And, as a cherry on top, we're going to be covering Impact Slammiversary. So we're going to see who's going to be debuting, who's going to be returning to the company. So, the only thing that I'm a little sad is, like, Rusev is not going to be there because, we both reported, like, he has COVID. So, unfortunately, he won't be part of this show, but hey, maybe later.
Oh, could you imagine if he was the fourth guy in
like
the crowd? Rusev Day. That would have blown the roof.
In English, just like Rusev Day.
Oh, that would be so legit. Like if it's like, who's the fourth guy? And the lights go out, and then you hear him on the microphone, and he comes out.
If that happens, I'm never watching AEW again. That's what it is. But Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, other than hey, enjoy the rest of your day, family, and that is.